Brazil's president asking her country's Supreme Court to block impeachment proceedings against her, a last-ditch attempt to halt the proceedings ahead of a critical Senate vote.
What has been a long, damaging and divisive political process is at a critical moment as the 81 members of the Brazilian Senate prepare to vote on whether or not to subject Dilma Rousseff to a full impeachment trial. The beleaguered president denies the charges against her, that she illegally concealed the scale of the budget deficit. Brazil's first female leader says that what is really happening, first in the lower house of Congress and now in the Senate, is a judicial coup by her political opponents to remove her from office.
The BBC's Wira Davis. Many Japanese welcoming President Obama's decision to visit the atomic bomb city of Hiroshima, and those interviewed today insist they are not seeking an apology. News and analysis at townhall.com. 40% of the country's baby boomers stayed with their employer for more than 20 years.
According to the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll of more than 1,000 Americans 50 and older, 18% of those with at least 2 decades of service with a single employer have stayed at least 30 years. Pensions appeared to play a major role in whether to change employers. The survey also found that about half of those are excited about retirement, but just a third of those who are anxious have had at least 20 years with a single employer.
Correspondent Jeremy House. The fire chief for Canada's evacuated oil sands town of Fort McMurray is asking for patience, vowing to get residents back home as soon as possible following a devastating fire. Darby Allen says wildfire is mostly out in the city, but not yet in areas to the south. 88,000 people had to evacuate their homes in advance of the wildfire. More on these stories at townhall.com.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the place locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573. Catch the new wave as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow. Log on to norfolktides.com for information on season tickets, groups, and Tides merchandise. Follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball. See the green. Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's. Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson, this beautiful spring day, May the 11th in Hampton Roads. Glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Sports Scene presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, an interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, invite you to watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com, where the Tides will be the featured show for the month of June coming up. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Also, thank you to our military and first offenders. Great guest lineup today. Kevin Sheehan, featured guest around 1240. Sponsors on GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors and homepage. Guest lineup today presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 great Virginia Beach locations. Look at their link in the restaurant section on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com as well. Phone line presented by GJBTV.com, where you can click the YouTube link for archive shows of media and sports scene as well. Sponsors this month on WHKT: Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Eddies, Me Hogar, Newport News Greek Festival, and of course Newcastle as well. The Greek Festival is coming up June 2nd to June 5th. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. NBA postseason heating up. NHL, congratulations to Pittsburgh. MLB, Orioles and Nationals trying to stay near the top of the race. Testimonials from CP Shucker, Saffron, Outback Steakhouse, and Tokyo as well. A lot going on. This is Sports Scene, your local premiere show in Hampton Roads every Wednesday, 12 to 1, right here on News Talk 1650. With Ken Johnson, Greg Bicouvaris, at Greg Bick on Twitter. We'll be back live after these messages.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
All right, back live right here on Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us right here on News Talk 1650, TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer anywhere in the world. Sports Scene every Wednesday, noon to 1. Sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. At Greg Bick on Twitter as well. It's a pleasure to talk to another former Red Zebra alumni. Of course, I worked here in Virginia Beach from 07 to 13 on one of Mr. Snyder's properties. And, of course, Chris Russell worked at ESPN 90, 980. Of course, he's now at 106.7 in Washington. Chris, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Very good, very good. Let's talk about what you've been up to lately. Of course, a lot of people heard you for so many years on ESPN 980, and you've been on 106.7, doing a great job with the Redskins post-game show, and it's always a lot of fun on the weekends there.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that. It's definitely a new venture for me. Before I went to work for Red Zebra, and therefore the Redskins and Dan Snyder, I had covered the Redskins, full time, and been a host for 1 year with 106.7 The Fan. As they flipped to an all sports format, I had been on that station under a previous format in a national syndication deal for a number of years before that, and 5 years with the Redskins and 980 and Red Zebra Broadcasting. And Dan Snyder was, more than enough. I was ready for a new change and a new challenge. And, this has afforded me an opportunity to not have to leave my family and travel so much and not have to be on the grind 24/7 covering the Redskins. Because, as you know, it's great to talk about when there's news and when there's juicy stuff to talk. It's horrible. It's a nightmare to cover. And that organization was, what I always call it, a cyclone of chaos for a very, very, very long time. And only now, hopefully, for the foreseeable future is it's starting to stabilize and not be exactly that.
Right, you brought up a good point, too. The grind of covering a team day to day, the minutia, the lack of information. You talk to one person, they say talk to another. That's a lot of grind. It's almost like you're doing a Watergate every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, and that organization, it's a really interesting way that you kind of, compared it. Obviously I was a kid, a baby when Watergate was going on, but, from what I know about it and what I read about it, and, I guess you can take any major scandal. I mean, it felt literally like you were in a 24/7 vacuum of scandal. It was the worst feeling, never knowing whether you could actually go to sleep or not, and whether you were going to miss somebody getting arrested or somebody getting suspended or somebody getting fired or somebody saying something ridiculous to some national insider, that quite honestly would swoop in, whether it would be in person or on the phone or in text, and because of the entity that they work for, ESPN, NFL Network, Fox, whoever it might be, get information or get somebody to open up and say something that all of a sudden you were left completely scrambling for because you didn't ask that question, you didn't drum up that controversy. They did, the player, the coach, the personnel, the unnamed person did, and now all of a sudden you're just bullets are flying at you for real. So I know this sounds like a bunch of crying and whining, but when 1 year is fine, 6 years is not a lot of fun, to be honest with you. And, of course, I hope for Redskins fans that a lot of those days are over. My feeling is they're always going to be there from time to time, but the culture is a lot better with Scott McCloughan in charge, and hopefully his personal demons allow him to stay in charge.
We're talking to Chris Russell right here. This is 1650, tunein.com. Type in WHKT Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson from 106.7 up in Washington, D.C. You heard him for several years on ESPN 980 as well. And, Chris, that was a great point, too, because when you're covering a team and they have these press conferences or news conferences for updates, it's a lot of, a circus-type atmosphere. And it's always like the coach or the PR director is trying to show off to the media and the crowd. It's almost like a Letterman type atmosphere where one-on-ones are a lot more controlled, and to me that is really can be grinding as well when you're trying to make a point, do your job at a press conference, and it seems like you're on stage now because of social media with the people you're talking to.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to make this,
sure,
like woe is me and all about me and the media, because fans don't, ultimately care one way or the other. They just want their football team to win, and I get all that. My point always has been and always will be is that, and I can only speak for me, I never, ever, ever woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to ambush somebody, and I'm out to make somebody look really, really bad. A lot of times, things would just fall into your lap. Sometimes they wouldn't, and you would have to ask tough questions, and sometimes you would get revealing answers, whether it be a press conference, whether it be in person, whether it be on the road in the hotel or in the locker room. I mean, there was a million things that I couldn't even say, that I wouldn't say because it would be too destructive to individuals or the team or the locker room, and quite honestly to me, because then I would have to deal with the cleanup and the carnage. So, the bottom line is when you win, and when you win football games consistently, and when you do things right, maturely, when you don't base your organization off of marketing and every last damn dollar that you can get, then you are going to have less of these problems. You're always going to have something, but you're going to act and operate like a functional organization, whether it be a professional sports organization or whether it be a Fortune 500 company where you don't have scandal and controversy and soap opera leaking and oozing and pouring out of the seams at every turn.
Yeah, I guess it goes hand in hand in Washington. I guess to give some credit, working down in Virginia Beach, he owned our station for 6 years. He owns ESPN 950 in Richmond as well, and of course he owns ESPN 980 and their stations up there. He really never got involved day to day. We were out of sight, out of mind, to his credit, but still, like you said, there is chaos. And there's a show called Scandal on TV, and it almost felt like that in the Washington atmosphere.
Yeah, and Dan's not a bad guy. Well, the Dan that I know is not a bad guy. I mean, a lot of people obviously know a different, type of guy. But the bottom line is I think the biggest mistake that Bruce Allen made was, way. And Bruce is a politician. Bruce sucked up to Dan and facilitated a way to shield Dan, but also allow Dan to still have his fingerprints all over things. And, I covered Mike Shanahan for 4 years here. Mike did a lot of good things, but Mike also, allowed what he swore he wouldn't allow, and those decisions and that thinking, whether it was preventable or not, and I do believe it was largely preventable, ruined this franchise. And Bruce has done some bad things for this franchise. And he's done some good things, So I just hope that, for right now, and I stress right now, because it's always subject to change, the focus is on how to make the football roster better, which should always be the number one object of any organization. But trust me, guys, from being on the inside, it was not. It was never about that and only that. And now, I don't want to say it is, but it's a lot more about that.
Right, and I'm not a big fan of Allen. I don't think he's that great of an executive. I think he's still living off his dad's legacy. Sure, he had some good years in the past, but I think the current general manager is who's making the team relevant right now. And I want to get your thoughts, because I know you don't have a limited time on the draft, and also Josh Norman as well.
That's fine. That's fine. We can go, whatever time you guys need. I guess I'll start with Norman, if that's okay.
Sure.
I'm surprised they went as hard as they did for him. I'm surprised they spent the money that they did for him. I know there's a 2-year out, but it would still cost them $9.5 million worth of dead cap money, which is a significant, prohibitive penalty for them getting out of the contract. But obviously, it is a hit that they would be willing to take in exchange for a much bigger hit if Josh Norman is a major, major, major failure. That being said, it was a need position in a conference, in a league, in a division that has premier wide receivers, that is a pass-happy league. And quite honestly, guys, because they let go of Chris Culliver, it really offset a lot of it. Now, are they significantly better than they were last year towards the end? Absolutely, because Culliver was already lost, and they feared that Culliver was not going to be even close to being fully ready until midway through this year. Are they significantly better, if Culliver would have stayed healthy? No, but I don't think they would have made this move if that would have happened. So, when you look at it, I think from the start of last year to this year, at the cornerback position, minus D'Angelo Hall, who's at safety, and Chris Culliver, I think they're better. I don't know if they're leaps and bounds better, but they're better. And they better be right, because Josh Norman cost them a lot of money. I think they're doing things the right way. They'll protect him in zone, which is what he's most comfortable at. They have a pretty good pass rush. Not as good as Carolina, but they have a pretty good pass rush. Now let's see what happens with the rest of the roster.
We're talking to sports talk show host Chris Russell from 106.7 in Washington. This is Sports Scene right here on News Talk 1650, live right here at 1221. Greg Bicouvaris, also tunein.com. Type in WHKT. Chris, go ahead and promote your Twitter handle as well.
Sure, Greg. It's at WrestleMania621, at WrestleMania621, and write for DCHotRead.com, mostly about the Redskins, but also the new Washington Arena Football League franchise. and as well BreakingBurgundy.com, and occasionally for the Washington Times.
I want to get your thoughts too, Chris, because I really respect your opinion. And I went to George Mason, so I lived up there. My sister still lives in the Maryland area. It just seems like Dr. Phil could do a soap opera on all the Washington and Baltimore teams. Let me just start off real quick. Redskins, they made the postseason, but of course there's drama every year. The Wizards are always in denial. They went 41-41, and why in God's earth do they still have Nene on the team who's dragging is beyond me. The Orioles, of course, 19-12. They've made the postseason a couple times the last several years. Same with the Nats. They're 20-13. They change managers every year. The Caps, another excuse. They lost. Oh, this is the year. But the bottom line is they're out of the postseason, losing to the Penguins last night 4-3 in overtime. It's always excuses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the organizations themselves, if it's fair to say always excuses. I think there's reasons which sometimes come across as excuses. I think my frustration, just me, is with. I think these organizations, specifically the Capitals, have been built the right way. I think the Nationals have been built the right way. I do not believe the Wizards or the Redskins have been built the right way. My frustration is from the organizations that have tried to do everything right, the Capitals, the Nationals, that have tried to build the right way. They've fallen short at the worst possible times. And then that feeds this frenzy of woe is me, the city is cursed, D.C. is doomed, all this nonsense that you get from a lot of the fans, some media. And to me, that's just, maybe I'm naive. That's just not true. I know it's been a long time for success. I understand that. But this city as a whole does have 3 Super Bowl championships. Yes, it's been a long time. Many cities don't have any championships. Go ask Cleveland when the last time they won a championship. Go ask fill in the blank city that doesn't even have a professional sports team.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I think people lose sight of. You're not entitled to anything around here. You're not entitled to championships. You're not entitled to anything more than, hey, you know what? We're going to do the best we can. Sometimes we're going to screw up and make a mistake, and a lot of mistakes, as the Redskins have made and as the Wizards have made, but we're going to do the best we can and hope for the best. Sometimes that's going to be good, and sometimes, a lot of times, probably more often than not, it's not going to be good enough, and that's the world that we live in. That's sports. Why should it be any different?
Right. Great point, too, about the Redskins and their championships, although it's been a long time ago. Look how the Ravens in the last 21 years have won 2 Super Bowls. But now without Lewis, they've kind of lost their identity the last several years. They have not made the postseason last year. And when the Redskins made the postseason and they're relevant, it's amazing how much. They only play 35 miles apart from each other, one on exit 17, one on exit 51, 52, that how much more relevant the Redskins are, and the Ravens are almost off the radar when they're not in the postseason and the Redskins are doing well. It was so obvious this past year.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, even though they're 35 miles apart or 36 miles apart from border to border, they really are. They couldn't be any further apart in terms of, how the cities handle themselves and how they operate and the fan bases and the loyalties and all that. So, even though, again, geographically they are close, they're really, different. So I would say this. All due respect to the Ravens, they've done a lot of things right. And that's, again, the process that I'm talking about that the Caps have endeared themselves to, embraced, that the Nationals have embraced and cultivated. The Ravens did such a really good job of that for so long that it did yield the ultimate fruits of their labor, 2 Super Bowl championships, albeit spread over, what was it, 10, 11 years or whatever it was, maybe 12 years, whatever it was. So, but you see when all of a sudden they don't have those premier draft picks and all of a sudden things don't work out, maybe Ozzie has lost a step or the game has changed a little bit, then all of a sudden the success is not guaranteed to be there. And then you see with the Redskins, when they do embrace doing things the better way, the right way, instead of being what the Redskins for so long became synonymous with. Quite honestly, the way the Yankees have bought into and done things, and really has been the root of the Yankees' problems in Major League Baseball when you make big, splashy headline signings and you don't pay attention to the core ideal philosophy of how to build a team and an organization. When the Redskins have done the opposite of what they have done too much of, they've won. They've had success. It's only when they abandon that plan do they fail. And do they fail spectacularly? And why teams in every sport, in every market, can't understand this, I don't know. It's part of what makes sports frustrating. It's part of what makes sports great.
Right, and Ozzy's not exactly known for his transparency either. He's hiding behind like the Wizard of Oz, kind of cloth.
Yeah, but he can do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
Because he's Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame tight end, and quite honestly, he's probably a better personnel executive than he was a player.
I agree.
And maybe that's not fair to his playing career, because like I said, he is a Hall of Famer. But I have a tremendous, tremendous respect for a guy like that, who is, again, tried to do it the right way, and has largely done it the right way. It's, people around here, friends of mine that are on the radio with me at 106.7 The Fan say, it's about the process, and you sometimes hear trust the process.
Right. Chris, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, my friend, and we will get you on again here soon. I appreciate this coming on short notice. All the best to you and your family, and we will talk to you before training camp as well.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Very good. Chris Russell right there from 106.7 in Washington. Greg Bicouvaris. This is Sports Scene Live on the radio with Ken Johnson at 12:29. Great guests coming up the second half hour. GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows, all powered by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Ken Johnson.
Well, so we might get a break from the rain tomorrow for a little while. Today, though, cloudy skies, some scattered thunderstorms coming away this afternoon, a high of 74. Tonight, cloudy skies, more rain, a low of 62. Partly cloudy tomorrow, no rain in the forecast, 75. But then for Friday, thunderstorms all day long, a high of 84 degrees. Might see some sunshine, by the way, Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. News is next, followed by more of Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris on AM 1650. It's 12:30.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. House Speaker Paul Ryan says the Republican Party needs to be united to defeat Democrat Hillary Clinton in the November election. Ryan spoke this morning ahead of his meeting tomorrow with Donald Trump. 3 separate car bombings in Baghdad today have left at least 93 people dead, 165 wounded. ISIS claims responsibility for the attacks. Brazil's Senate has begun a session that's expected to bring a vote on whether to impeach the country's president. Payday lenders will no longer be able to advertise by way of the Internet's largest advertising company. Google says it's going to ban those ads. On Wall Street so far today, stocks have been in negative territory. The Dow is down about 120 points, while the NASDAQ is off 15. More details at srnnews.com.
Do you have a family member who's getting older and can no longer be safely left alone? With Visiting Angels America's Choice in Senior Home Care, your parents and older family members can continue living at home and not have to move into a nursing home. Experienced, compassionate caregivers provide assistance in hygiene, meal preparation, and light housework up to 24 hours per day at affordable rates. To restore your family's peace of mind, call Visiting Angels toll-free today at 877-374-LIVE or at visitingangels.com.
At one point in my life, I just stopped going to church. I didn't care that much about religion. Some friends of mine encouraged me to pick up the Bible and then showed me that a lot of what I was taught was not even in the Bible. They showed me a website called thebiblesaysthat.org. The Q&A format was simple, and it helped me find my own answers. This website challenges and dismantles misguided religious doctrines. Check out thebiblesaysthat.org and join the discussion. Thebiblesaysthat.org.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the place locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573. Catch the new wave as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow. Log on to norfolktides.com for information on season tickets, groups, and Tides merchandise. Follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball. See the green.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And want to thank Chris Russell from 106.7 in Washington to join us, giving us a little breakdown on his beat covering the Redskins. He worked at ESPN 980 for so many years. Of course, a locals tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. Of course, they showcase NASCAR, MLB, NHL, NBA, college sports, golf, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. Great, of course, appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, pasta, and seafood. Go by and see Chef Leon at Shore Drive and Matt and Mark at both locations. Of course, Mother Shuckers coming up this weekend right there at Pacific Avenue as well. Log on to norfolktides.com for more information on Tides tickets, groups, tickets, discounts, and merchandise. And don't forget to follow the Tides on Twitter, like them on Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball, see the green. They are at home right now as well. Enjoyed covering them last night. They'll be on the June edition of Sports Highlights on NNPSTV.com. And of course, introducing lunch at Outback every blooming day with your favorites like Aussie tacos made with chicken, fish, or steak. Try their new ribeye melt topped with bacon, cheddar, and garlic aioli, all in a toasted artisan bun with over 70 lunch combinations starting at only $6.99. You can't beat that price. It's now lunch at last at Outback, 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach, the premier Outback in the state of Virginia. Give them a call at 523-4832. Great place for the weekends, 7 days a week, lunch, dinner. Great appetizers, kids menu as well. Great burgers and steaks at Outback. Go by and see Mike at 1255 Fordham Drive and the great staff at Outback Steakhouse as well. Of course, this is Sports Scene. A lot going on in the world of sports right there as well. Each and every week right here from 12 to 1. On News Talk 1650, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. The Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament's on YouTube. Go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link to see it. Also on NNPS TV, on Cox Cable 47 and Fios 17 as well. Of course, lunchtime order online at papajohns.com. Shop on the marketplace sponsors as well on gjbtv.com. TGIF on Lynn Parkway, lunch, dinner, late night, they've got you covered at tgifridays.com as well. Don't forget the Norfolk Greek Festival starts tomorrow through Sunday, and also find the B-dubs at buffalowildwings.com. So we got it all covered. Business, sports, sponsors right here, all inclusive. Every Wednesday, we covered all on Hampton Roads premier radio show, Sports Scene, every Wednesday, 12 to 1, at Greg Bick on Twitter. Thank you for all the great followers as well. Also, you can like me and add me on Facebook at Greg Bicouvaris as well, and gjbtv.com for more information. Ken Johnson does a great job each and every week right here on Sports Scene as well. It does an excellent job of the traffic and the weather too. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more great guests on Sports Scene after these messages.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. This beautiful spring day, May 11th. About time we're having some good weather, Kenny.
Yeah, well, enjoy it while you can. It won't last.
Well, at the Norfolk Greek Festival, people are listening. How's the weather look for them Thursday through Sunday?
Of next week?
No, this week.
Oh, this week.
Thursday through Sunday. You're the weatherman around here.
Tomorrow, Thursday, partly cloudy, 75, not too bad. Friday, though, thunderstorms. Saturday looks pretty good, partly cloudy, a few afternoon thunderstorms, but then Sunday's going to be a winter sunny with a high of 70, so a little hit or miss. And as we always know, there are 2 professions where you can constantly be wrong constantly and still keep your gig, and that is weather forecasters and radio station consultants.
Very good. And you're a little bit of both, Kenny. All right, let's welcome Dinos Pierrakos from Laconical.com, the best olive oil and olives in our business spotlight scene, before we talk to Kevin Sheehan. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Greg. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Exciting the next 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. You'll be in Norfolk right there on Granby Street. They call it Greece on Granby Street for the big Norfolk Greek Festival, and you're one of the vendors. Talk about it.
That's right. It's going to be a great weekend for the Norfolk Greek Festival. My family is an internationally award-winning olive oil producer, and we produce an amazing, pure extra virgin olive oil. That comes from the southern coast of Sparta, Greece. My family's olive groves.
You can really taste the difference when you put it on salads, and really my favorite type of salad, the cucumbers and tomatoes and the onions.
Yes. It goes with just about with everything, especially as a finish. Our olive oil has a very nice, clean, fruity butteriness at the end. So anything you drizzle it on, especially as a finish, like I said, tastes absolutely amazing. As well as our award-winning olive oil is infused with some of our other flavors like the garlic extra virgin olive oil, rosemary, our famous Greek seasoning, which we use in just about our entire Greek cuisine. And it's almost life-changing when you taste what real olive oil should taste like.
It really is good. You have a lot of different flavors. You'll be inside the building there Thursday through Sunday. Of course, rain or shine, the Norfolk Greek Festival. You can see their link on Hampton Roads Online Mall.com, as well as Laconico's link as well. Go ahead and plug your social media and your website.
Yes. You can find us at laconico.com. That is LACONIKO.com. You can, of course, email us, find us on Facebook. We have lots of recipes. And, of course, you can always purchase online if you're not able to make it out this weekend to the Norfolk Greek Festival.
Very good as well. And, of course, there's always something for everyone. And you'll be at the Newport News Greek Festival June 2nd to June 5th as well.
That's right. So we will be heading to that one as well in almost a month. And we were expecting a big crowd to see the nice, familiar local faces.
Right, and of course, but again, we want to stress everybody, go to the Norfolk Greek Festival Thursday through Sunday. It's going to be the place to be in Hampton Roads. Some of the best food you'll have in the Mid-Atlantic states. And festivals are so much fun. And Laconical, you're a big part of that, your family, bringing great olive oil and olives to Hampton Roads.
Yes. We're, like I said, we're internationally award-winning. We just got the gold medal this year in the world's largest olive oil competition. So you're guaranteed to get nothing but the best and freshest real extra virgin olive oil.
Very good. All right, my friend, we'll see you Thursday through Sunday. Give us the last word about the olive oil and olives at Laconical.
The best olive oil you'll ever taste. You have to taste to believe in order to see what real olive oil should taste like. And I say real for a reason. Extra virgin olive oil happens to be, for the consumers that don't know, the number one food scam in the industry. So when you taste what the real thing should taste like, you will be amazed.
See you at the Norfolk Greek Festival Thursday through Sunday.
Perfect. Yes, that's right. We will be there.
Very good. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very
Have
good.
a great week.
You too. Dinos Pierrakos from Laconical Olive Oil. Ken, olive oil does really make a difference, especially during that summer season with the tomatoes, the cucumbers, and the onions when you're outdoor grilling and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people think olive oil doesn't have much flavor to it. Well, maybe you're not getting the right kind of olive oil, and maybe it just tastes like, kind of a darker oil or something. You're not getting the right stuff. Get the best olive oil. Get really good tasting olive oil. If that doesn't change your mind, and if you don't suddenly start using more of it everywhere, we use it all the time, just about everything, then you'll be amazed at what real olive oil can be like.
All right, stay tuned. Take a short break. Come back with Kevin Sheehan after these messages on Sports Scene.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the place locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573. Catch the new wave as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow. Log on to norfolktides.com for information on season tickets, groups, and Tides merchandise. Follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball. See the green.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
And I want to thank Chris Russell so far from 106.7 Washington for joining us right there, giving us a little insight on Washington and Baltimore sports right there, as well as Dinos Pierrakos talking about some great olive oil and olives during the business spotlight. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday, noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen anywhere on your phone or your computer. Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson. Don't forget to go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows as well. Ken, you were playing a little Star Wars music right there. And of course, there's a movie coming out later this year. Not necessarily Star Wars, but a kind of a reflection of how the movie began. What's the taking on all that?
On the Rebels? It's part of the Star Wars world. It's not so much a sequel, prequel, or it's kind of a sidequel, if you want to call it that. It's part of the Star Wars universe, but does not necessarily directly involve any of the characters from the original 6, or even some of the newer characters from Episode 7. So it's in the Star Wars universe. If you have any kids, or if you're a kid at heart, you may have seen some of the shows, the animated version of Star Wars that's, I believe, on Cartoon Network. Might be on Disney. I'm not sure which. Probably Disney, since they own Star Wars. And it's not necessarily all the Star Wars characters, but there are people from that universe in it. So that'll give you a taste of it as well. But this is a live-action feature the feel of Star Wars without having necessarily Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and those people in it.
Right. I'm curious what they're going to do as far as the Sith and the dark side of the Force, too, because a lot of Star Wars fans like the movie. You know, they're looking forward to it. I kind of caught people by surprise with this movie coming out, kind of a behind the scenes. But as typical Star Wars movie, they always get a lot of hype as the time goes on. And I think our guest is starting to call us here. Maybe he's part of the Star Wars scene. Who knows? Anyway, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday, May 11th, right here, 2016. We want to welcome former colleague of mine who worked at Red Zebra here in Virginia Beach, as you guys well know, from 07 to 13. We want to welcome Kevin Sheehan. He's now on 7 to 11 in the morning on ESPN 980. You hear him during the Redskins, as well, the radio network during the games. Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Greg, what's up? Sorry I'm late.
That's all right. That's all right. How is the new shift going? I know you and Andy Poland are always morning people to begin with, so I guess this kind of fits your mold pretty well.
You know what? It's true. I mean, like I've always gotten up early, so it's not a big deal. I've been a part of Tony Kornheiser's show up here for so long, and we did that show relatively early in the morning, so it's not a big change at all.
We'll have to get you on when we got more time as well, but just do a kind of little bit of a recap with the Redskins and the draft before we talk a little bit about the Nats and the Caps. Were you pleased with the draft, the direction the Redskins are going in the spring?
I love the draft, and these are such imprecise post analysis that because you just don't know for 3 years, but I have a son at TCU, so I've watched TCU games for the last 2 years. And, leading up to the draft, I kept telling, guys like Doc Walker and Chris Cooley, I'm like, I think wide receiver is a possibility, and if it is, they should pick Josh Doxson. It's like the one thing I've gotten right in the last 6 months, but I love that pick. I think he's going to be a superstar in the NFL. And it's also a pick for the future, Greg, because Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon are not going to be both on this team in 2017. And I think this guy's going to end up being a many-year All-Pro for this franchise. So I like the draft. I love the pick of Daniels, the kid from BC. I think Cravens is going to play right. I think Scott McLuhan knows what he's doing. Right.
And, of course, D'Angelo Hall's from this area as well. He's only got limited shelf life. But you brought up a really good point when they got Norman several weeks ago. Here we go again. It kind of reeks shades of the past with high-price money guys. And you brought up a really good point on your 12-2 show back then that he really hasn't proven anything until last year. Not many people even knew who he was until he got in a fight with the Giants player.
You know what? For NFL fans, every year there are a dozen players that you really didn't know before the season. Even as a hardcore NFL fan, you barely had heard of. You didn't know. You heard he was okay. But Josh Norman became, a superstar corner in a short period of time because this was not the description you used of him in 2014. So, there's a lot of here go the Redskins again. But the truth is, it's a new organization. It has been for several years. They haven't made these types of purchases in recent years, even though we know it used to be their MO, through most of the 2000s. I think there's a trust, Greg, in Scott McLuhan that he knows what he's doing. He knows how to evaluate a player. He knows culturally how that player will fit. He's got good instincts on will that player turn into a different person once they get generational money? So you got to trust in McLuhan right now. Norman fills a need, and theoretically he should be just right now entering his prime. So you're not paying for an aging superstar with a name. You're paying for a guy that should be entering his prime right now.
Very good. Talking to Kevin Sheehan from ESPN 980. This is Greg Bicouvaris live on News Talk 1650. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Subscribe to my page, Sports Scene, as well. A few more minutes with Kevin Sheehan. Kevin, you brought up this morning about Penguins and Caps. Here we go again. And I brought up this to a previous guest as well. It just seems like Washington and even Baltimore, it's almost like the Dr. Phil. Real quick, Redskins, they made the postseason. There's always drama regardless. Cardinals. Wizards 41-41. They didn't make the postseason. They fired their coach. Nats, always a lot of hope and promise, always drama with them, even though they're 20-13. Orioles 19-12. And of course the Caps, a lot of promise, a lot of hype, but the bottom line is they're out of the postseason again.
This town hasn't had one of its 4 professional sports teams in a conference championship series or game since '98, and that was the Caps when they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. And that's the only time it's happened since '91,
right,
since the Redskins won the Super Bowl. It is quite a drought in this city. It's amazing that there are any sports fans left, given the mediocrity in some of the real poor seasons. But as you know, this is still first and foremost a Redskins town. I don't think that'll ever change. And I would say that the optimism for that particular team is legitimately high going into 2016. You know, you've got a quarterback maybe for the first time in a long time, somebody that appears to be a franchise type of quarterback and not a guy running a college scheme. You've got a personnel director in Scott McLuhan that appears to be legitimate in his ability to evaluate players and sign them for, reasonable contracts. But yeah, it's been a long drought, and hopefully it doesn't go on too much longer. I think the Nats have a shot to make a deep run. I think the Redskins have a chance to win another division title. The Wizards, who knows? Who knows on them? And the Caps just do what they do every year.
Yeah, of course, we all love the Redskins. I'm kind of surprised about the arena team coming, right, for next year. It really doesn't really make a lot of sense with the Nats there during the season, the Redskins town, and still the Caps are playing late till the season, even the Wizards and so forth. But one thing I want to get off my chest about the Wizards, yes, they didn't make the postseason, but why on God's earth is Nene still in the team? He's an example of the Wizards dragging. He goes up and down the court, very lazy. Sure, he like the Wizards, like Beal and Wall, they have spurts of energy, Kevin, just spurts. They play well, and again, they drought toward the end.
Well, you're going to get an argument from me on Nene, and I would say this, with respect to what he is right now, he's looking weathered, beat up, and maybe close to the finish line. I'll grant you that. But if you ask the players on the team, Nene's been their highest IQ player. He's been maybe their best leader, or certainly one of their best leaders. If you go back to them making the playoffs for the first time in a long time 2 years ago, they don't win that first-round series against Chicago without Nene. He's not going to be on the team this coming season, so you're going to get your wish.
Yeah.
But there's been a ton of Nene bashing recently. But if you ask the basketball people in that organization over the last couple of years, he was an invaluable part of their basketball IQ, thing with the team. I mean, I think without him, they wouldn't have had the results they had. And the truth is, with the game changing the way it's changed, it's tough for him to be a power forward in this league. He doesn't extend the floor as a shooter. But, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to them. Scott Brooks is an interesting hire. I know that they hope that attracts Kevin Durant. Without Kevin Durant, you have to just hope that Beal and Wall stay healthy and continue to mature, because this year was really a step back.
Kevin, continued success in your 7 to 11 show. Great job as always. Always enjoying the Redskins radio network, and we'll talk to you very, very soon, my friend.
Greg, thanks. Good to catch up.
My pleasure. Kevin Sheehan right there from ESPN 980. Before we get to what teased me off, the Premier Buffet in Hampton Roads is open. Tokyo Grill and Buffet. Indulge in this all-you-can-eat extravaganza, which includes Chinese, Japanese, hibachi, sushi, and American food. It's lunchtime, folks, and their buffet is only $6.39 for lunch. Dinner, $9.39. Sunday all day, $9.99. They're at 49 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton, and they have takeout as well. Go by and see them at Tokyo Grill and Buffet at 49 West Mercury Boulevard. Kenny, let's get to what teased me off.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
Ken, you and I do not like pickup trucks. They're bad enough, but when they have things falling out of them and dangling from them, that's even worse on the interstate.
I see it all the time. And, the old adage about working with your head, working with your hands, sometimes that's applicable, sometimes not. But anybody that works with their hands and has a pickup truck, don't lend to the stereotype any more than you have to. Make sure things are battened down. There's screws and nails and things all over of the road that are causing flat tires for people. Be a little more proactive, and if you're going to throw the beer cans in the rear, then just throw them into a bag as you're driving down the road.
And not to mention the logs, that those big trucks have all these logs and wood. Parents, we all have to deal with kids at some sort of time or another. Teenagers are teenagers till they're 19 years old, period. Repeat, teenagers are teenagers till they're 19. Keep an eye on them. They're not adults till they're 21, in my opinion, although they can vote and go to the war at 18. Ordering something, then after you eat, Ken, you have to order something else. That's not good.
You're eating in the wrong restaurant.
I know. Man. Returning food for any reason is very, very awkward. Got a steak the other night. It was not well done. Had to return it. All right, going out on a Monday night in general for a late night dinner, that's the toughest day of the week. That doesn't work either. People acting foolish behind the scenes in crowds on these morning national TV shows, Kenny. Just to say, wave in the crowd, and say, hey, Mom, I'm on TV, that type of thing.
Well, people just kind of do that. I don't know why.
People on social media who post pics from decades ago, currently, how about moderation? How about relevancy? 2016 as well. Saffron Mediterranean Queen, they've got shish kebabs right there in Hilton Village in Newport News, 10417 Warwick Boulevard. Go by and see David. Give them a call at 223-9978 in Hilton Village. They've got great hot and cold appetizers, entrees, fish, kids menu, desserts. They've got wraps, stews, healthy food, great food, dining, carry out, catering, one of a kind as well at Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine, open for lunch and dinner right there in Hilton Village. Go by and see their nice logo. Like them on Facebook, follow them as well. Twitter, and go by and see David at Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine, where you can get an excellent meal. Quality and quantity, of course, is their recipe. I want to thank our great guests today as well. Chris Russell, of course, Dinos Pierrakos, and Kevin Sheehan. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows of Sports Scene and other TV programs that I've done as well. For my background, go to gjbtv.com. Follow me on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HR1LineMall.com. Beautiful, beautiful weather in Hampton Roads. We're really blessed. And, of course, this show will be archived on YouTube as it is. And, of course, a great website, GJBTV.com. And, of course, 1650 is great Twitter and Facebook as well. Ken Johnson, take it away. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, it's 1 p.m.
News this